I felt like a petty thief caught in the act, my entire body frozen solid in the middle of the busy street. It turned out that no matter how far I ran, no matter how hard I tried to hide, fate always pushed me back to confront one person, Lu Trin Fong. But the most terrifying thing wasn't the fact that he discovered my secret, it was who is the girl standing next to him. Now, let's join NightTalk Audio to hear the continuing story of secrets and burgeoning romance. Just as I was stuck in a swamp of emotion and a deep hole I had dug for myself, a low, cool voice rang out right above my head, enough to send a chill down my spine. Mac Tin Tin, didn't you say you were going out for beef noodles? I choked, slowly raising my head. Lu Trin Fong's half-smiling, half-unreadable gaze hit me squarely in the face. Beside him, the girl covered her mouth but couldn't hide her amusement. I had been caught in the act. I struggled to force out a smile that looked worse than crying. He and the beauty waved at me. Her radiant smile made my eyes sting as if they were being burned by fire. The phrase Chu Qi had blurted out earlier repeated in my head, she is my future sister-in-law. I went with my mother to visit her close friend's house. I was 3 years old at the time. And my childhood sweetheart was 7. I rode on his back, making him carry me and run all over the living room as if riding a horse. Right then, the adults who were talking suddenly teased us, saying that when I grew up, I would have to marry him. I immediately gripped my sweetheart's collar and shouted a word, which unfortunately sounded like chicken. Lu Trin Fong and I grew up together since we were small. He was excellent in school, had a calm and polite personality, and his face stood out in a crowd. In my mother's eyes, Lu Trin Fong had long been the ideal son-in-law. Sometimes I even suspected that my mother loved him more than her own daughter. As soon as my parents went on a business trip, she would immediately send me to his house like a thoughtless habit. Recently, I have been busy studying for the university entrance exam, while Lu Trin Fong has been struggling with his graduation thesis. The perpetually sharp face of a genius now showed a few signs of weariness. He looked at me and said, "Tin Tin, please eat lunch at school for the next few days. I need to focus on revising my thesis and haven't been able to cook for you." My hand, which was holding a Coca-Cola sauce chicken wing, suddenly froze. I immediately put 2 more pieces into my bowl, feeling as if a lightning bolt had struck my heart. Huh? Doesn't that mean this is my last meal? Lu Trin Fong brought the whole platter over, pushed the remaining chicken wings in front of me, his face full of apology. "Just a few days. I'll cook for you again once I'm done. Eat some more. When I finish the thesis, I'll treat you to whatever you want." Before he could finish, I switched to a whirlwind eating mode, stuffing every piece into my mouth as if the world was about to run out of food. Seeing me eat so fast that I choked, he even poured water for me and placed it next to my hand. My mouth was full of meat and rice, and my heart was full of sadness. I looked up at him, my voice choked, "Don't worry, I will light incense and pray 3 times a day. I truly suffer, because his cooking is so delicious that outside food doesn't stand a chance." Just then, his phone rang with an Alipay notification. "You have received 1,000 yen. I froze for a second. Then my heart immediately lit up like fireworks. Eating out isn't too bad, after all. The corners of my mouth started curving up from joy, so much so that a grain of rice fell out. Lu Trin Fong put down his phone, and by reflex, he helped me remove the grain of rice stuck to my shirt, then gently touched the corner of my mouth with a napkin. His expression was exactly like, "I knew you would react this way. You little rascal, keep eating." "Hee, thank you." I beamed. He brought his bowl up to eat, inadvertently catching my eyes, which were trying to hold back while wanting to peek at the notification with the money transferred. My mood seemed much brighter. A party was going on in my head. "Don't worry, Lu Trin Fong. I promise to continue lighting incense. Your devout follower, Mac Tin Tin, wishes to accumulate virtue so that your thesis will be completed as slowly as possible." With a massive amount of money in hand, I immediately dragged Chu Qi, my deskmate and best friend, to a nearby bakery and ordered dishes like someone who had just won the lottery. Chu Qi anxiously stopped my hand. "Mac Tin Tin, what's wrong with you? Are you running into trouble tomorrow?" I was still immersed in the fantasy of being surrounded by sweet cakes and didn't understand what she was saying at all. "No. Why do you ask something so strange?" Chu Qi put her hands on her hips and pointed at the pile of expensive cakes in front of us. "I thought you were going to be evicted tomorrow, so you had to compensate by eating today." Get lost. I raised my hand to pinch her waist, but she dodged to the side and ran to the counter. She clasped her hands and pleaded with the handsome employee. Sir, we'll only take 2 strawberry cakes, okay? Before I could object, Chuki glared at me threateningly. My dream of extravagant dining vanished into thin air. The employee looked at Chuki's tough girl appearance and laughed, quickly noting the order. We each hugged a strawberry cake and sat down. Playing the part of the nouveau riche, I expressed my utmost dissatisfaction. Classmate Chuki, you are wasting your financial potential. Don't you know your best friend is getting richer by the minute? Chuki glanced at me, scooping up a spoonful of cake. I know you. You spend as much as you have. That money will probably only last you a few days. If your brother hasn't finished revising his thesis, you'll starve yourself before that. I was startled and immediately bowed my head to calculate. Realizing I was on the verge of becoming a 3-day millionaire, I grinned widely, and while she wasn't paying attention, I scooped a spoonful of her cake. Hee, thank you. Teacher. Chuki's eyes widened. She immediately snatched the strawberry from my cake. Well done. Watch this. So the two of us plunged into a mini battle in the bakery. Eating and snatching like children. The wind chime on the door jingled. Chuki and I both looked up and were stunned to see an extremely beautiful girl walk in. Wow, both of us forgot to chew. But when I saw the person walking behind her, I jumped and quickly lowered my face to the table. Fortunately, our spot had a partition that covered most of us. Lu Trin Fong. Aren't you supposed to be revising your thesis? Chuki had met him before. As soon as she saw him, she immediately grabbed a brochure to cover her face, then glared at me, wanting to burst from excitement. Suddenly, I felt annoyed, unsure whether I was annoyed because he said he had to revise his thesis but was appearing at a bakery, or because he was walking in with a beautiful girl into a romantic dessert shop. The small bakery was brightly and warmly lit, beautifully decorated, and played a love song so sweet it was tooth-aching. Lu Trin Fong and the girl he was with chose a corner quite far from us. Chuki leaned into my ear and whispered, Tin Tin. Is that your brother's girlfriend? She's gorgeous. My face looked like the words, unhappy, were plastered on it, and I couldn't even swallow the cake in my mouth. I didn't know how to answer Chuki. Lu Trin Fong had never mentioned having a girlfriend, but I couldn't be sure. He was over 20, dating someone was perfectly normal. My throat constricted. The sweetness of the cake in my mouth suddenly turned sour. The two of them were talking quite cheerfully. Even from a distance, I could hear the girls' laughter. Clear as a glass of lemonade on a summer day. I gripped the spoon in my hand so tightly that a piece of cake on the plate rolled onto the table, losing a third of it. Chuki, not understanding how flustered I was, cleaned up the fallen piece and pushed her strawberry-topped piece toward me. Hey, big spender, don't waste food. I took a deep breath, my mind a mess. I opened my phone, intending to text Lu Trin Fong to ask where he was. The moment I touched the chat frame, I saw the bakery's address, which I had sent to him myself. I wanted to smash my head on the table. Chuki ate while secretly looking at me. Seeing that I wasn't touching my food, she quietly asked, What's wrong? Can't eat anymore? I looked at Chuki with a frustrated gaze. This was truly unspeakable, just as I was sinking into the embarrassment of having dug my own hole. Lu Trin Fong and the girl stood up and walked toward the counter to pay. Chuki and I immediately shrank back behind the partition. His voice rang out very clearly. Low and cool but pleasant to hear. 1 strawberry cake to go. I sneered inwardly, he just sat and ate with a genuine beauty, and now he's buying more cake to take home. That is truly infuriating. The girl took out her phone to pay. Let me pay. No need. Lu Trin Fong quickly blocked the QR code and paid himself. The girl didn't argue but praised him in a cheerful voice. You're really nice, truly nice. I mumbled to myself behind the partition. Lu Trin Fong put down his phone and glanced over, spotting a bun of hair sticking out from behind the partition. A ponytail tied with a rainbow-colored scrunchie, anyone would know the owner instantly. He slightly narrowed his eyes and video called me. Chuki's eyes went wide, and right then, Lu Trin Fong's custom ringtone went off right next to us. I panicked and hit the cancel button while Chuki looked at me like I was a character in a horror movie. Immediately after, his voice spoke up right above my head, enough to send a chill down my spine. Mac Tin Tin, didn't you say you were going out for beef noodles? I choked, slowly raising my head. Lu Trin Fong's half smiling half unreadable gaze hit me squarely in the face. Beside him, the girl covered her mouth but couldn't hide her amusement. I had been caught in the act. I struggled to force out a smile that looked worse than crying. The beautiful girl waved at me, her radiant smile making my eyes sting as if they were being burned by fire. The phrase Chu-ki had blurted out earlier, that she was my future sister-in-law, repeated in my head. Perhaps seeing my eyes redden, Lu Trin-fong thought I was scared by his scolding. And his voice softened. We agreed to only eat cake once a week, didn't we? I glanced at the cute strawberry cake still sitting on the counter, not wanting to lose face in front of an outsider. I immediately blurted out a reason. The cow in my stomach said it has never tasted strawberry cake before. And today it is absolutely determined to know its flavor. Chu-ki and Lu Trin-fong could only look to the sky after hearing that. These two were already accustomed to my nonsense. Meanwhile, the beautiful girl burst into laughter, her shoulders shaking. Senior Lu, your little sister is really cute. I immediately choked. Senior Lu? He's being called by such a high title outside, too. I was speechless. I glared at Lu Trin-fong to express my displeasure. He acted as if he didn't see it, turned back to the counter, took the cake, and feigned regret. Is that so? If the cow in your stomach has already eaten your share, then I'll just have to take it. I immediately jumped up. No way. I ran over and snatched my cake back. Lu Trin-fong looked at my appearance, like a cat whose fur was bristling, and the corners of his mouth curved slightly. He pressed my head down with one hand, placed the cake in my hands with the other, and then, as if remembering something he needed to instruct me on, he bent down to look at me with a serious expression. You can only eat one. No more this week. You have a lot of money, but you don't know how to choose good food. The cow in your stomach has never tried Japanese food, right? Tonight, take your little friend inside you to that new Japanese restaurant. I've already transferred money to the membership card. A moment ago, I felt so hurt I was nearly crying. Hearing him say that, the corners of my mouth automatically turned up, completely out of my control. Facing him, the beautiful girl checked her watch and gently touched his arm. Senior, we have to go now. My face instantly fell. Lu Trin-fong rubbed my head. I'll go first. Having said that, he walked out of the shop with the beautiful girl, heading straight out without looking back. As the door was about to close, the beautiful girl turned her head and smiled at me with a gentle, mature charm. I don't know what possessed me, but I took a few steps forward, intending to call him back. Lu Trin-fong. My voice was blocked by the sound of the door closing. A light breeze swept past, carrying the beautiful girl's fresh perfume scent. I looked at the cake in my hand, no longer feeling any excitement. My phone rang. Lu Trin-fong's transfer notification appeared with the memo for topping up the Japanese restaurant's membership card. As soon as Chu-ki saw him leave, she rushed over. She looked at the cake in my hand, then at the transfer notification, her face filled with indignation on my behalf. Oh my god, he's a brother, too. But why is mine as stingy as a spring while yours throws money around like people giving out lucky money during Tet? The two words "and try, older brother," jolted me awake. That's right, everyone thinks Lu Trin-fong is my older brother. I remembered what my mother had once said about wanting me to marry him later. I gritted my teeth, tears welling up again from anger and wounded pride. He's not my brother. Chu-ki didn't even let me finish speaking before rushing to comfort me. Yes, you're my older brother. She took the cake from my hand and pulled me back to our seats. I pushed the cake toward Chu-ki. You eat it. You only had a few bites earlier. Chu-ki intended to refuse, but remembering that I wasn't allowed to eat too many sweets, she immediately nodded vigorously, opening the box with a face as happy as if she had won the lottery. Hee, thank you, sugar mama. You're too annoying to be evicted. I laughed, but my heart remained heavy. I sighed, deciding to open up and ask Chu-ki for advice. I thought for a moment and then looked at her. Old Chu, what do you think? I'm stuck. I need Zub Chu's help to find a way. Chu-ki immediately understood. She coughed lightly, picked up a leaflet to use as a feather fan, and stroked her imaginary beard with her other hand. Little friend, speak your mind. I briefly recounted the story of the arranged marriage between the two families, the story of him caring for me as if raising a child, the fact that the two families no longer mentioned it, and then you fell for him, Chu-ki said straightforwardly, like a knife cutting through the air. My heart skipped a painful beat. I wanted to instinctively deny it, No, and now you like him, Chuki repeated with certainty. I stammered, unable to find any reasonable rebuttal. Everything felt meaningless. Chuki looked at me with a sly glint in her eyes, fanning herself with the leaflet while eating the cake. Just let me struggle on my own. I felt my face flush. A mix of embarrassment and helplessness. I realized I liked Lu Trin Fong at the most awkward time. My throat tightened, and my heart felt as if someone was pricking it with a needle, bit by bit. A scary thought spun in my head, I want to pull him back to me. But right after, I felt that thought was terrible. What right do I have? Who am I? The more I thought, the sadder I became. And tears welled up again. Chuki panicked and immediately dropped the leaflet. Oh my god, why are you crying like this? Not wanting her to see my weakness. I snatched Chuki's spoon and scooped up the remaining cake, stuffing it into my mouth as if I wanted to swallow all my sorrow. Tears fell, mixing with the sweet cream. I swallowed hard to clear the choking sensation in my throat and pretended to be angry. Don't eat anymore. Leave some for me. My feelings hadn't even had a chance to sprout before they were crushed in the cradle. It wouldn't hurt to let me have 2 more bites of cake. I still didn't dare tell Chuki the real reason I burst into tears. She realized my mood was low, so she didn't ask further. A few days later, Lu Trin Fong completed his graduation thesis. And right then, my mother called, asking him to attend the parent-teacher conference on her behalf. He immediately agreed. I only found out about this after the meeting. At the time, I was standing outside the classroom door waiting for my grandmother. I was worried she might go to the wrong class, so I kept peering down the stairs. My seatmate kept pestering me, asking which university I planned to apply to. Not seeing my grandmother's shadow, I finally relaxed and turned back to talk to him. My seatmate was the type of student who was extremely studious, turning to me and Chuki every day to ask about one thing or another. When talking to acquaintances, my mouth usually had no breaks. My slip-up of mentioning Fuden made his eyes go wide. Lu Trin Fong, impeccably dressed, walked to the classroom door just in time to hear me rambling excitedly. Since I was preoccupied with talking, I didn't see him. The homeroom teacher walked out, saw a strange young man, assessed him from head to toe, and asked who his parent was. Lu Trin Fong's gaze fell on the sight of me chatting happily and animatedly with the male student, causing his expression to turn instantly cold. He deliberately raised his voice clearly. He stated that he was Mac Tin Tin's fiancé since childhood. The entire hallway instantly fell silent. Those 4 words struck my heart, leaving me completely numb. It was unbelievable that those words came out of his mouth in public. I turned my head to face his gaze, which was completely self-assured. My seatmate's jaw dropped, and he turned to ask me, stunned and standing frozen. He asked me skeptically if I truly had a childhood fiancé. I turned my face away, secretly happy to hear him utter the long-forgotten engagement. It felt like someone had gently strummed a string in my heart, making it tremble. The homeroom teacher was still contemplating when Lu Trin Fong explained clearly. My mother had asked him to come and he even showed the text message. Only then did the teacher let him enter the classroom. Before stepping in, he gave me a subtle glance. He called me over. I immediately blushed and led him to my seat. Just then, Chuki brought her brother, Chu Lam, to the spot. After settling in, Chuki greeted Lu Trin Fong and then pulled me outside. As soon as we stepped out of the classroom door, she looked at my flushed face and immediately asked the crucial question. My seatmate also rushed after us, recounting in detail the scene when Lu Trin Fong loudly announced the relationship between us. Hearing it again, my ears burned red. Chuki played the role of the strategist, stroking her imaginary beard and concluding. She said that Lu Trin Fong liked me. I felt my heart pound like a war drum. Although I didn't understand why he would say that in front of so many people, it still wasn't enough proof that he liked me. Moreover, I hadn't clarified who the beautiful girl from the other day was. Whenever I thought of her, my heart grew cold. Seeing that I was sad, Chuki put her arm around my neck to comfort me. She told me that since I was so good, it was natural for others to like me. She even said she liked me too. My seatmate, not wanting to be outdone, also said he liked me. Not satisfied, he then asked if he could find a childhood wife if he got into Fuden University. Chuki gently tapped his head and told the fool to only copy the good things. The parent-teacher conference ended. Lu Trin Fong and I both tacitly understood that we should not mention the matter of him claiming to be my childhood fiancé. He looked quite happy. His graduation thesis had also been revised and finalized. I still didn't dare to ask him directly about his relationship with the beautiful girl from before. Fearing that I couldn't handle the real answer, I chose to remain silent. The university entrance exam arrived on schedule. I successfully passed the exam and entered Lu Trin Fong's university. He was a first-year master's student, and I was a freshman. Once again, I entered a phase where everything, from my clothes to my schedule, was under his watchful eye. Because I always wanted to know the truth, I started looking for ways to be around Lu Trin Fong more than usual, hoping to catch a glimpse of his life and see if there was anyone special beside him. Apart from the time spent in classes, we were almost always together, eating, strolling, sitting in the library. His presence was everywhere. It was only from that point on that I truly realized there were many people around him. One day, when I had no classes, I went to the lab to find him. Through the glass door, I saw the senior students surrounding him. He stood in the middle of the crowd, talking and laughing naturally, relaxed and confident. This was the first time I clearly understood that the distance between us wasn't something that could be simply closed by trying harder. He easily achieved high scores and was liked by everyone. Meanwhile, I had to study until exhaustion just to catch up. The distance between the two of us had never just been that glass door. Lu Trin Fong looked out from inside, saw me standing motionless outside the door, greeted his advisor, took off his mask, and pushed the door open, walking toward me. He asked me why I was standing there spaced out and why I didn't come in. I was startled, looked up, and instinctively reached into his pocket for a snack. I said I was an outsider and was hesitant to go in. The beautiful girl from the bakery the other day stepped out and smiled in greeting when she saw me. Just thinking about the possibility that she was his girlfriend, I immediately felt a sour taste. I tried to pull my hand back, but he held my wrist. He reached into his pocket himself, took out a snack, and placed it in my palm. His large hand covered mine very naturally. He said he was in a hurry today, so he didn't bring much. He also said that later he would take me to eat Thai food that the senior student had recommended. The beautiful girl nodded and said I would definitely like it. Curious, I asked her if she was coming along. She immediately waved her hand and said that her boyfriend couldn't eat Thai food. I heard the keyword boyfriend and relaxed. It turns out she has a boyfriend. So she has nothing to do with Lu Trin Fong. That thought made the corners of my mouth curve up uncontrollably. She continued to explain that she found the dish delicious and the dessert was suitable for a girl like me. Lu Trin Fong chuckled and thanked her. Hearing that, she seemed to recall something unpleasant, her expression filled with sadness, and she turned back into the lab. On the way to the Thai restaurant, ever since I found out she had a boyfriend, my mood lightened significantly. I tried to keep my voice calm to ask Lu Trin Fong about it. He nodded in confirmation. I awkwardly denied that I cared and then continued to ask why she called him Senior Lu. He appeared very confident and said it was a title they voluntarily used because he was too outstanding. He even boasted that no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't catch up. I could only roll my eyes and call him a self-obsessed fool. When we sat down in the restaurant, I watched him order, my heart beating uncontrollably fast. He knew my preferences as clearly as his own. He had always ordered things that I would eat. There was never a dish I hated in his selection. He ordered a couple's set and a mango sticky rice. Hearing the words couple's set, my heart skipped a beat. He, however, remained calm. I asked why he ordered the couple's portion. Perhaps he heard the tremor in my voice because his hand paused slightly. He answered that the senior student and her boyfriend also ate that portion, and he had looked at it. The set contained all the dishes I liked. I complimented the senior student, saying she wasn't just beautiful but also had good taste in restaurants. I hadn't expected him ordering this set to make me so happy. Seeing my delight, the corners of his mouth also curved up slightly. Even the dessert, which he usually only allowed me to have a little of, he gave me 2 extra spoonfuls today. After eating, I was in a very good mood. We strolled around and bought some daily necessities before heading back to the dormitory. On the way back, we met the cat he used to feed. I had only seen it in pictures before, and now I realized it was genuinely fat. The cat saw him, immediately rolled over, exposed its belly, and demanded pets. I looked at the round cat, then recalled the picture he had sent. I wondered why the cat looked different in real life compared to the photo. He held the cat with one arm and took a snack stick from his pocket to hand to me. He said the student community fed it a lot, which is why it got so fat. He also told me to get acquainted with my senior. The cat wasn't scared of strangers at all, just nudging its nose into the snack stick. I thought this scene was truly rare. I fed the cat while raising my phone to take a picture of him and the cat. After the cat finished eating, our brief friendship ended immediately. It jumped out of his arms, landed on the ground, wiggled its backside, and walked away. True to form, absolutely heartless. Lu Trin Fong brushed the cat hair off his shirt, chuckling softly. I hugged my phone and rapidly typed a message to Chu Qi to discuss how much that lazy cat must eat to get that plump. He glanced and saw Chu Qi's avatar on the screen and quietly sighed in relief. A student on a bicycle zoomed past, and his large hand rested on my shoulder, pulling me to the side. "Watch where you're going." Got it. That night, back in the dorm, it was time for the gossip all female students loved. After days of fighting over food during military training, the 6 girls in my room became close very quickly. Everyone was extremely curious about Lu Trin Fong. As for the relationship between him and me, I deliberately held back a few details. Earlier, when I thought he had a girlfriend, I just said our families had known each other since childhood. Later, when it was clear he had no one special beside him, every time the room joked, I secretly added color to my childhood fiancé version of the story. I recounted a few childhood memories between the two families, and my roommates sighed in admiration. Wow, so childhood sweethearts really exist in the world? I thought it was just a fairy tale. Roommate B smiled and asked me, "So, do you like him?" Before I could open my mouth, Roommate C shouted enthusiastically, if she didn't like him, how could she stick to him every day? I have to write you two into a romance novel. Roommate D immediately chimed in. Add some hot scenes. Hey, stop right there. My face was burning red, and I quickly stopped my friends, who were enthusiastically gossiping. Roommate E, the quietest one, looked at me and asked slowly, "Do you think Lu Trin Fong is cute?" She made me pause. My mind returned to the moment this afternoon when we fed the cat together. When I raised my phone, my first instinct was to point the camera at him. The lens slid along his veined hand, clenched from effort, and slowly moved up. In his arms was the fat cat eating, and his chin was close to its soft, furry head. The evening sun bathed him, his drooping hair casting a slight shadow, and his eyes rested on the cat with such gentleness. I looked at his even white teeth when he smiled, and the corners of my own mouth curved up. He was cute in an indescribable way. I smiled softly and nodded in acknowledgement. Roommate E immediately jumped up, grabbing Roommate C's hand and shaking it vigorously. I'll write the hot scene. I buried my face in my hands, which were burning hot, unsure where to hide. After a while, I sighed, but I still don't know what he thinks of me. Maybe he just sees me as a little sister. Roommate E spread her arms. I leaned closer. What is it? Ask him directly. I froze. If I could bring myself to ask, I would have done it long ago. Roommate E wagged her index finger and smiled mysteriously. Exactly like Chu Qi whenever she planned a trick. The freshman welcome night is coming soon. We'll help you prepare a performance to capture him. You just need to get on stage. I didn't understand how everyone was so certain I could get on stage. Since childhood, to keep up with Lu Trin Fong's pace, almost all my time, apart from eating and sleeping, was spent studying. Asking me to perform in front of a crowd was truly an impossible task. My roommates didn't believe me, so they opened a few short videos and found the dance with the fewest movements for me to try to follow. I stood there, stiff as a praying mantis, my limbs flailing awkwardly. I touched my own rigid hips and sadly asked, "Why are these hips so stubborn, God?" My roommates immediately changed tactics. They found a familiar song and asked me to try singing a few lines. The moment I opened my mouth, before the first sentence was finished, someone put a hand over it. Stop, let's switch. Singing is out and dancing is a disaster. The whole room froze, unable to believe it. Someone who looked outwardly normal like me was both clumsy and completely off-key. I protested, I know how to tell corny jokes. As soon as I finished, 5 pairs of eyes looked at me wide-eyed, as if I were a rare treasure. I became even more timid. Looking over my qualities again and again, besides having learned a little academically, it seemed I had no outstanding talent. A roommate slammed her hand on the table, her expression resolute as if making a life and death decision. If you're not good, you have to be good. Let's stick with the corny jokes. With that, she grabbed her phone and ran out to the balcony to call someone. She returned a few minutes later with a triumphant expression. It's all set. Tomorrow, you'll practice a skit with the artistic department. The next day, roommate C led me to the artistic department's room. Fearing that my stage presence would look too comedic, roommate C even used the promise of a date to persuade the head organizer to give me the role of a Bok Wei Kwong, white moonlight, who tells corny jokes. What kind of Bok Wei Kwong tells corny jokes? You'll see when you finish acting. Go in, Pikachu. Full of energy, roommate C spun me around and pushed me into the rehearsal room. While she stood outside the door looking in, like a parent dropping off their child for extracurricular classes. Because I had to practice every day, the time I spent with Lu Trin Fong was significantly reduced. Mealtime was the only period I got to sit beside him. Hearing that I would participate in the freshman welcome night, he encouraged me, telling me not to worry and that on the day of the performance, he would be the loudest clapper in the audience. But what role are you playing? Lu Trin Fong leaned close to my face. So close that I could clearly see my reflection in his eyes. Fearing he would hear my pounding heart, I quickly picked up my water cup and took a sip to hide my reaction. It's a secret. You'll find out then. After half a month of practice, the day of the performance finally arrived. I wore the gentle white dress that my roommates had voted for the Bok Wei Kwong. I slowly walked onto the stage. My face was lightly made up, my long hair fell softly, and to create the white moonlight effect, the stage had a dedicated beam of light shining directly on me. My co-star, playing the male lead, leaned his hand on a refrigerator prop, his voice trembling as if about to burst into tears. Why is this refrigerator trembling so badly? I lifted my gentle eyes and lightly pulled out the plug. If you're cold, the refrigerator is cold too. The auditorium exploded with laughter. My Bok Wei Kwong role only had one line, but that corny joke spread through the school like wildfire. From that day on, the number of people who greeted me while walking with Lu Trin Fong doubled. Some male students, hearing that Lu Trin Fong was only my older brother, even boldly approached me to ask for my contact information. Without exception, all were rejected by Lu Trin Fong with a face darker than a storm cloud. Speaking about the performance, Lu Trin Fong praised me at length. The styling was great, the dress and the makeup suited you. My entire body was tense, waiting for the next sentence. A look of disappointment quickly flashed across his face, and then he smiled and rubbed my head. That corny joke, you weren't the first person I heard it from. My heart wanted to leap out of my chest, and a confession almost slipped out, but I managed to hold it back. I remembered my roommate's advice to take things slowly, so I ignored those who actively tried to get to know me. In contrast, Lu Trin Fong grew increasingly vigilant. He followed me much more closely and even hired someone to keep watch when he couldn't accompany me. One afternoon, I was having lunch with a female senior student. I asked curiously, "Don't you need to go eat with your boyfriend?" Speaking about the performance, Lu Trin Fong praised me at length. The styling was great. The dress and the makeup suited you. My entire body was tense, waiting for the next sentence. A look of disappointment quickly flashed across his face, and then he smiled and rubbed my head. That corny joke, you weren't the first person I heard it from. My heart wanted to leap out of my chest, and a confession almost slipped out, but I managed to hold it back. I remembered my roommate's advice to take things slowly, so I ignored those who actively tried to get to know me. In contrast, Lu Trin Fong grew increasingly vigilant. He followed me much more closely and even hired someone to keep watch when he couldn't accompany me. One afternoon, I was having lunch with a female senior student. I asked curiously, "Don't you need to go eat with your boyfriend?" My mind felt like a violent explosion had gone off. The senior student sitting across from me continued talking animatedly. And from her account, I heard a version of Lu Trin Fong completely unfamiliar to me. Everyone in the lab jokes that Senior Lu dotes on his wife the most in the department. The other day, I asked him to bring the revised thesis to that person. The agreement was clearly to deliver it to their house. Yet, as soon as he heard you craved strawberry cake, he told me to run straight to the bakery to deliver it to you first. That person paid 1,000 yen for the thesis, and he immediately transferred all of it to you. He only kept a small portion of the money, but when it came to paying for the cake, he absolutely refused to let me pay. When he was an undergraduate, he was famously liked by many people. He turned down everyone who pursued him, saying he had to wait for his wife to grow up. I sat motionless, as if turned to stone right at the dining table. Seeing my shock, the senior student laughed, teasing me. "Oh dear, hasn't he told you that you two are together?" I widened my eyes and quickly shook my head. The smile on the senior student's lips instantly froze. Her boyfriend immediately raised his hand, miming zipping his mouth shut. "Hush, don't say anything more." The senior student blinked in confusion, awkwardly correcting herself. "Pretend I haven't said anything at all. Lu Trin Fong likes me." The senior student was panicking because of her slip of the tongue and quickly bought me a small piece of cake to beg for my silence. "Tin Tin, I bought the cake. Let's pretend what happened just now never existed." Receiving good news and getting a free cake, my mood instantly brightened. The senior student hugged her head, regretting that she had agreed to help Lu Trin Fong keep an eye on me. "Now this is great. I've spilled all the secrets he asked me to keep. If he finds out I'm the one who told, I'll probably have to work in the lab from morning till night for a whole year." Holding the cream cake, all I could think about were the words, "Lu Trin Fong likes me." I smiled brightly all the way back. As soon as I got back to the room, I immediately told Chuki everything. Zug Chu, upon hearing it, showed no surprise. I consulted with my roommates, and we decided to accelerate the confession plan, choosing the exact day he finished his experiment to make my move. We had exactly 5 days left. With the help of my friends, I pretended to go shopping with them to deceive Lu Trin Fong, but in reality, I was running everywhere preparing a gift. For 2 consecutive days, I couldn't choose anything satisfactory. The anxiety began to rise. Arriving back at the dorm empty-handed, I hadn't even caught my breath when roommate B announced someone was looking for me. Outside the door was a female student from the neighboring class. She looked around and then pulled me along. She led me to the open-air pavilion near the dorm. As I walked up, I saw flickering candlelight, and upon getting closer, I saw the candles were arranged in the shape of a heart. An unfamiliar male student was holding a bouquet of roses, his face as red as a tomato. The crowd of onlookers grew larger and larger. I knew immediately what situation was awaiting me, so I stood outside, not taking another step. The male student stepped closer. His hands were visibly trembling. "Mac Tin Tin, I like you. Will you be my girlfriend?" I looked at the bouquet and frowned. The flowers were too few, maybe only about 11. And not very beautiful either. When it was time to confess to Lu Trin Fong, I would definitely have to order a bigger, more worthy bouquet. Seeing my silence, he became flustered. He took a deep breath and repeated his words one more time. "Mac Tin Tin, I like you, will you be my girlfriend?" No, the voice was not mine. Lu Trin Fong rushed over from nowhere, followed by a security guard holding a fire extinguisher. He stepped up to shield me. The security guard charged straight over, pulled the pin on the extinguisher, and sprayed, covering the entire pavilion in white smoke. I coughed and waved my hand. After extinguishing the fire, the guard sternly questioned the male student. "Which department are you in? Which class? What's your student ID? Don't you know lighting candles is forbidden on campus? What's your advisor's name?" While the male student was being interrogated, Lu Trin Fong grabbed my hand and pulled me away. He walked a few steps, then stopped, and bent down in front of me. "Get on, I'll carry you." His tone left no room for refusal. I obediently climbed onto his back. My heartbeat resonated clearly in my ears, and it seemed his heartbeat wasn't very stable either. On his back, I realized I wasn't the only one nervous. He carried me around the campus. Wherever there was a crowd, he intentionally walked slowly. When passing the male dorm area, he even stopped several times to greet people here and there. Even strangers had to be greeted thoroughly. Seeing that string of implicit actions, and recalling the senior student's words, I just wrapped my arms around him tightly. We wandered a large circle around the campus. It wasn't until my legs started to feel numb that Lu Trin Fong finally let me down. Actually, he didn't put me down completely but changed to letting me sit sideways on his lap. That position made me blush because of the closeness. I hadn't sat on his lap once since elementary school. His ears were red as if sunburnt. He asked in a low, deep voice, "Which leg is numb?" He was about to reach out to rub it for me, making me even more flustered. "Both legs are numb," I answered meekly. Lu Trin Fong froze, lowered his hand into a fist, and lightly tapped my leg a few times. After a moment, he mumbled softly, enough for me to hear clearly. "You little cheater." Since there were only the two of us, no one else was around, I heard every single word. My heart rate also calmed down. I immediately asked back, "What am I cheating about?" He looked up at me with a look of being wrong that slightly startled me. I momentarily thought the senior student might have accidentally revealed something that made him misunderstand. Before I could finish thinking, he sighed, "You said you would marry me. But you went and listened to him." I was speechless. I had never said that in my life. I immediately retorted, "No. I didn't. When did I ever say that?" Lu Trin Fong turned on his phone and opened an old video clip. In the video, the audio was a bit noisy. A small boy was carrying a little girl, running around, and then my mother's voice rang out, "Tin Tin, will you marry RTU Fong later?" The little girl, riding on the boy's back, kept kicking her short legs into the boy's sides and shouting, "Jia," as if urging a horse. Following that was a burst of delighted laughter from the adults. When the video ended, I was so embarrassed I wanted to hide underground. I tried to snatch the phone, but he was faster. Seeing my stunned reaction, he misinterpreted my meaning. "Mac Tin Tin. It was decided when you were 3 years old. Don't tell me you've changed your mind." I looked up at him, then lowered my head again in shame. It was something from childhood. How would I remember to agree to it now? Lu Trin Fong was so annoyed he laughed. He lifted me up as if wanting to toss me away. Terrified, I hugged his neck. "Stop. Calm down. Let's talk slowly." "Talk about what? You've truly deceived me." He squeezed me and spun around once, making me dizzy. "When did I deceive you?" I shouted. "Right now," he immediately answered. "No, I haven't." "Yes, you have." He deliberately spun a few more times to tease me. My head was spinning so much I couldn't stand straight. "I'm wrong. I admit I'm wrong. So, will you marry me?" Dizziness and fear made me nod vigorously. "Marry you." His eyes lit up when he heard that. He was so happy he hugged me and spun me around one more time, still refusing to let me down. I knew there would be a day I'd use that video clip. His voice was full of pride. The video was blurry, yet he had kept it since we were small. He'd gone through countless phones, but this one clip was never deleted. An indescribable feeling welled up inside me. Perhaps his feelings for me run deeper than I realized. He was about to spin again, and I panicked. Lu Trin Fong put me down. In the nearby bushes, the group who had been secretly watching started whispering, "He's strong. Who taught him that spin?" The female senior student hugged her phone and kept filming. She commented that it was just like the centrifuge in the lab. Her boyfriend asked quietly, "Why are you following him?" The senior student replied, "It's a long story." Finally, Lu Trin Fong set me down, but his embrace was still tight. He practically locked me in his chest, allowing me to clearly hear his rapid heartbeat and see how red his ears were right down to the root. I rested my head on his shoulder. The atmosphere was so sweet I wanted to say something. "Anne." He quickly put his hand over my mouth. "Shush, don't talk." "Why?" I whispered meekly, "Mosquitoes." He glanced toward the bushes and the group scattered as quickly as the wind. Taking the hint, I still didn't understand what mosquitoes had to do with anything, but I decided to let it go. Then I remembered the important thing. I hadn't bought the gift or ordered the flowers. Wait. Lu Trin Fong was truly outrageous. Before I even had a chance to confess, he had already taken the initiative. Taking the video clip the senior student filmed to meet my mother and ask for permission to propose. I looked at his face. He was calling my mother, Mom, in a saccharine voice, and I couldn't hide my look of disdain. I scooped a piece of chili fried chicken onto his plate and calmly said, "Truly shameless." He put down his phone. Since his intentions were clearly revealed, he didn't even bother to hide them in front of me anymore. He took care of me even more closely than before, holding my hand wherever we went, feeding me himself at meal times, and if I hesitated to eat, he'd open his phone and threaten to report me to my mother immediately. A few days passed, and almost the entire school knew he was my boyfriend. Even the student who had confessed to me heard the news. He ran to the cafeteria to find me and demanded an explanation. "Mac Tin Tin, even if you don't like me, you didn't have to ask your brother to put on a play." Lu Trin Fong frowned, then bent down and kissed me clearly on the lips. "Have you ever seen an older brother kiss his little sister on the mouth?" The other boy froze. He pointed at me, but when he saw Lu Trinfang stand up, he immediately retracted his hand. He's really not your brother? He is, and he's also my fiancé since childhood. Thanks for your concern, I replied while chewing the rice he fed me. The boy turned red with anger. What century are we in for this kind of forced marriage? Mac Tin Tin, you need to think straight. Lu Trinfang put down his chopsticks, took my arm, and shook it gently, claiming his territory. Wife, say something. I think this dish is delicious. I put a piece of meat into his mouth and then turned to look at the boy with a serious expression. I choose to be with Lu Trinfang because I like him. Lu Trinfang immediately broke into a triumphant smile, his tone even more arrogant. Did you hear that clearly? She didn't choose you. My wife only loves me. The day I planned to confess finally arrived. I brought the gift I had meticulously prepared and met Lu Trinfang. As soon as he saw the large bouquet of flowers and the wrapped gift in my hand, his face immediately lit up with joy. He stepped forward to accept the flowers and gift as if he knew I was about to say something important. His expression was a little flustered. How can a girl say this first? It's okay. Men and women are equal. I imitated the way he used to coax me. I stood up, went on tiptoe, and rubbed his head. Lu Trinfang took my hand and placed it over his chest. Tin Tin. Lu Trinfang, I'll let you speak first this time. I took a deep breath. Truthfully, I couldn't exactly remember when the feelings between us had changed. Maybe it was because he could always guess my next move, or maybe it was because he always stood by my side unconditionally. Then will you marry me? Dizziness and fear made me nod rapidly. Marry you. Hearing that, his eyes lit up. He was so happy he hugged me and spun me around one more time, still refusing to let me down. I knew there would be a day I'd use that video clip. His voice was full of pride. The video was blurry, yet he had kept it since we were small. He'd gone through countless phones. Only this one clip was never deleted. An indescribable feeling welled up inside me. Perhaps his feelings for me run deeper than I realized. He was about to spin again, and I panicked. Lu Trinfang, put me down. In the nearby bushes, the group who had been secretly watching started whispering. He's strong. Who taught him that spin? The senior student hugged her phone and kept filming. She commented that it was just like the centrifuge in the lab. Her boyfriend asked quietly, "What are you following him for?" The senior student replied, "It's a long story." Finally, Lu Trinfang set me down, but his embrace was still very tight. He practically locked me in his chest, allowing me to clearly hear his rapid heartbeat and see how red his ears were right down to the root. I rested my head on his shoulder. The atmosphere was so sweet I wanted to say a few words. Ann. He quickly put his hand over my mouth. Shush, don't talk. Why? I whispered meekly. Mosquitoes. He glanced toward the bushes and the group scattered as quickly as the wind. Taking the hint, I still didn't understand what mosquitoes had to do with anything, but I decided to let it go. I suddenly remembered the important thing. I hadn't bought the gift or ordered the flowers. Wait, Lu Trinfang was truly outrageous. Before I even had a chance to confess, he had already taken the initiative. Bringing the video the senior student filmed to meet my mother and ask for permission to propose. I looked at his face. He was calling my mother, Mom, in a saccharine voice, and I couldn't hide my look of disdain. I scooped a piece of chili fried chicken onto his plate and calmly said, "Truly shameless." He put down his phone. Since his intentions were clearly revealed, he didn't even bother to hide them in front of me anymore. He took care of me even more closely than before, holding my hand wherever we went, feeding me himself at meal times, and if I hesitated to eat, he'd open his phone and threaten to report me to my mother immediately. A few days passed, and almost the entire school knew he was my boyfriend. Even the student who had confessed to me heard the news. He ran to the cafeteria to find me and demanded an explanation. Mac Tin Tin, even if you don't like me, you didn't have to ask your brother to put on a play. Lu Trinfang frowned, then bent down and kissed me clearly on the lips. Have you ever seen an older brother kiss his little sister on the mouth? The other boy froze. He pointed at me, but when he saw Lu Trinfang stand up, he immediately retracted his hand. He's really not your brother? He is, and he's also my fiancé since childhood. Thanks for your concern, I replied while chewing the rice he fed me. The boy was so angry his face turned red. What century are we in for this kind of forced marriage? Mac Tin Tin, you need to think straight. Lu Trin Fong immediately put down his chopsticks, took my arm, and shook it gently as if staking a claim. Wife, say something. I think this dish is delicious. I put a piece of meat into his mouth and then turned to look at the boy with a serious expression. I choose to be with Lu Trin Fong because I like him. Lu Trin Fong immediately burst into a triumphant smile, his tone even more arrogant. Did you hear that clearly? She didn't choose you. My wife only loves me. The day I planned to confess finally arrived. I brought the gift I had meticulously prepared and met Lu Trin Fong. As soon as he saw the large bouquet of flowers and the wrapped gift in my hand, his face immediately lit up with joy. He stepped forward to accept the flowers and gift as if he knew I was about to say something important. His expression was a little flustered. How can a girl say this first? It's okay. Men and women are equal. I imitated the way he used to coax me. I stood up, went on tiptoe, and rubbed his head. Lu Trin Fong took my hand and placed it over his chest. Tin Tin. Lu Trin Fong, I'll let you speak first this time. I took a deep breath. Truthfully, I couldn't exactly remember when the feelings between us had changed. Maybe it was because he could always guess my next move, or maybe it was because he always stood by my side unconditionally. It could be because his presence was in every important moment of my life. When I realized it, he had already become an imprint tied to me, blending into my breath and the empty space in my chest. His name was what I mumbled every night, like a dose of caffeine to keep me awake. He was also the dream I summoned all my courage to pursue. Shedding all pretenses, what I wanted was to stand properly beside him. Not because I used to be his little sister. Now I had succeeded. I looked up straight into Lu Trin Fong's deep, bright eyes. In them, there was only me and overwhelming love. Lu Trin Fong. I like you. He slightly tilted his head, catching his breath, his voice deepening. I laughed, grabbing his collar and gently pulling. Means what? He hugged me tightly, burying his face in my neck. His skin was hot and damp, making my eyes sting. Means I know. So cold? I really regret it now. I pretended to struggle out of his arms, but my hands remained on his back and tightened. Now it's your turn to speak. I patted his back lightly. Go on, Tin Tin. Yes, I love you. It was love, not pity, not habit, but love. My hands relaxed. Lu Trin Fong put the flowers and gift down and took a small box from his coat pocket. Thinking he wanted to propose, I immediately held out my left hand. He took my hand, flipped it over, and opened the box. Inside were neatly arranged cards. He picked them up one by one and introduced them. This card is for buying clothes. This card is for buying snacks. This card is linked to my supplementary card. You can buy anything you want. The hot pot restaurant card, the grill restaurant card, the Japanese food card, the Chinese food card, the European food card, and a barbecue card, but no bakery card. I'm afraid you'll eat too much and get a toothache. I looked at the stack of cards in my hand and couldn't suppress a laugh. Lu Trin Fong was truly the kind of person who could be a model mother. No detail was overlooked by him. When the box only had one layer left, he lifted the last card. Beneath it was a necklace. I raised an eyebrow. Why not a ring? He took the necklace, put the card back in the box, and placed the necklace around my neck. First, I claim your neck. Only then do I move on to your hands and feet. Claiming territory, right? You could say that. You are not allowed to change your mind during this time. Is that all? No more flowers for the confession? They're all gone from the box. Sliced Wagyu beef, an extra 10-minute hug, and a reservation at 5:30. Eat up, then hug quickly. Extra story. Lu Trin Fong, my mother, had a very close friend, and I called her my godmother. When I was 3 years old, my godmother's family moved to live near my house. That was also the first time I met Tin Tin. Her round face, with no visible chin or neck, made her look exactly like a soft, puffy doll. I thought she was very adorable. When I hugged her, she was so soft I didn't want to let go. I thought about asking my mother to let this little sister live with us. She cried because I hugged her for too long. I didn't know how to soothe a child. But I remembered that in TV shows, parents often lay down so their children could ride on their backs. I did that. She immediately stopped crying. I carried her from the bedroom to the living room. She clutched my collar and continuously shouted a short sound like she was urging a horse. Hearing my mother and godmother joke that she would marry me when she grew up, I felt happy. If that happened, I could hug her for the rest of my life. Because the two families lived close, I grew up with Tintin. It was partly my fault that she got cavities. As long as she looked at me with those pitiful eyes, I couldn't bear to refuse her. After she got cavities, my godmother scolded her first, then turned to scold me for constantly giving her candy. I had to become stricter. No matter how much she whined, I didn't dare let her eat too many sweets anymore. She hugged me and cried for a long time. After crying, she hugged me again and consoled me, saying she wasn't mad at all and still loved me most in the house. When she was in 3rd grade, she watched some strange movie. After school, she pulled me to the corner of the backyard, saying she had something very interesting she wanted to show me. I believed him. I let him lie down on the dirt patch, and then he suddenly threw a handful of mud at my face. He said that this would make me more handsome. Hearing that I might look better, I let him continue playing, just hoping that next to him I would look a little less unattractive. When I brought him home, my godmother looked at the two of us, covered in dirt, and nearly fainted. She immediately called my mother and told her to quickly take her future daughter-in-law home because she couldn't handle it anymore. Tintin studied very well, she was very smart. But when it came to boys and girls, she lacked sensitivity. When she was 14, I rode her to school. She sat on the back of the bicycle and asked me, "Brother, can we kiss?" My heart seemed to stop. The bike nearly drove into the ditch. She panicked and hugged my waist tightly, hugging me so hard I almost suffocated. I stopped the bike and asked her where she learned such things. She just looked confused and asked if that wasn't allowed. Her innocent face made me feel like the one with the dirty thoughts. She told me her classmate's brother had visited, and she saw them kissing. I explained that they were lovers, not siblings. She pouted and said, "If that's the case, then call him a boyfriend. Why still call him brother?" I warned her not to imitate those early dating games. She nodded and dismissed it. I worried that bad friends would corrupt her. I was about to go to college, so I couldn't look after her every day anymore. I was afraid that her tender heart would be stolen by someone else. Fortunately, she remained the same. She would call me on video right after school. We would do homework together. If there was anything she didn't understand, I would teach her again. Doing it over and over still felt enjoyable. In high school, Tintin excelled. With her ability, I believed the two of us definitely had a chance to attend the same university. I worked even harder to earn money through part-time jobs, hoping that I could rent a room for her later if she didn't get used to living in the dormitory. When I received the notice to defer my university enrollment, Tintin was 18. I returned home for summer break. My godmother was away on business, so I paid even more attention to Tintin. I hoped that whatever she did, she would remember the moments she spent with me. People often say that being by someone's side for a long time is the most persistent declaration of love. There had never been a third person interfering between us, until the day my godmother asked me to attend the parent-teacher conference for her, and I saw Tintin chatting with a male classmate. My heart sank. Tintin had her own sources of happiness. She no longer revolved around me as before, even though I knew he was just a classmate. My jealousy made me lose control. I stood in the middle of the classroom and announced that I was her childhood fiancé. She was blushing furiously, and I didn't dare look at her any further. From that moment, I began to hope that the reason she was blushing was that she paid a little attention to me. If not, I would try to make her like me. I secretly followed her when she said she was going shopping with friends. She chose every item very carefully. After she left, I went in and asked the shop owner. They said she was choosing a gift to confess. My heart tightened. I asked my juniors if anyone had approached her recently. They were straightforward. A few questions were enough for them to spill everything. She knows I like her. So, is that confession gift for me? I waited. I also prepared. No matter who she confessed to, I wanted to say first that I liked her. When I heard that someone was planning to confess to her, I ran the fastest I ever had in my life. Her heartbeat when she was on my back made me understand everything clearly. We are in love. I tried proposing, and she agreed without hesitation. I didn't want to wait any longer because I had waited too long. I went to see my godmother and told her I wanted to marry Tintin. My godmother immediately nodded. She was also surprised to hear that we had started dating that day. She thought we had been in love for a long time. She recounted that Tin called me on video for a long time every day. Sometimes she ate quickly because she was afraid of not keeping up with my school's pace. Sometimes she turned off the video and studied late into the night. What a relief. It turned out we had been moving toward each other for many years. Extra story 2, the senior student at the end of the semester. I heard that the professor had accepted another deferred university student into the research group. His name was Lu Trin Fong. Just hearing the name, I immediately guessed the professor would show him favor. He liked people with outstanding abilities. Lu Trin Fong had a good reputation at school, a calm demeanor, a striking appearance, and top academic achievements. To secure him, the professor even gave him a tour of the lab before he officially started. I saw him for the first time in the lab and was slightly surprised because he really was handsome. But his personality was strange, he seemed too preoccupied with romance. I had never heard of him having a girlfriend before, yet once, when a girl pursued him all the way to the lab, he frankly replied that his wife would be appearing soon and immediately refused her. I was curious, so I stayed to see what his wife looked like. Only much later did I learn that the so-called appearing soon meant waiting for a few more months. One time, I accidentally messed up the experimental data and felt frustrated. I was reviewing it while calling my boyfriend to complain. I don't know when Lu Trin Fong showed up. He checked the data for me and even helped write the report. I was so touched I nearly cried. I realized I was moved too soon. He collected payment from me immediately. My boyfriend was struggling with his graduation thesis. I had to think of every way to reduce plagiarism. Lu Trin Fong appeared at just the right time. He offered to revise it for free on the condition that I take the credit for the job so he could earn a small fee. It sounded reasonable, so I agreed. One day at the bakery, I accidentally met the girl he often called his wife. Just hearing her call him so naturally, I immediately understood that their relationship was more interesting than I thought. After that, he also assigned me the task of observing his wife. I agreed because I could earn some pocket money. Looking at Tin's expression, I realized they hadn't moved in together yet. However, my gut feeling told me that it would happen soon. And just as expected, when he heard that someone wanted to confess to his wife, Lu Trin Fong ran off immediately. I invited my boyfriend and a few friends to follow and watch. The whole group followed them all day around the school. In return, I received a thank you fee in the form of a video and kept a small portion for myself. I plan to save it to give to the two of them as a wedding gift. Thank you for listening to the story on NightTalk Audio. If you like the stories on NightTalk Audio, don't forget to hit subscribe to catch the next episodes.